going right into it, use case number 1 is about analyzing your DNA for health insights. Claude Code can read your raw DNA data from ancestry websites like 23andMe or Ancestry DNA and identify specific genes you need to be mindful of. It's able to do this by taking the raw genetic data provided by these services, a file that neither of us know what's going on in. It analyzes it and can come away with information about disease risk factors, carrier status, drug sensitivity, stuff that could actually matter for your health. Now, this file is massive and incomprehensible without special tools, and that's where Claude Code comes in. To do this, tell Claude Code, here's my raw DNA data file from 23andMe. Search for health-related genetic variants, focus on genes associated with common conditions, drug metabolism, and anything I should discuss with my doctor. Organize findings by category. People are doing this all across Twitter, and it's pretty crazy because it can actually help save your life. Now, this is not medical advice, and if it opens up a can of worms that you're unhappy about, do not come yelling at me. Do not shoot the messenger. But now that's just one of the 18 use cases that you didn't know Claude Code could do. And I'll say this up front. Claude Code is creating a foundation for how you interact with AI agents that you need to learn because this is the future. And at the end of this video, I'll dive into Claude Cowork, a product that they just launched, and some of the exciting things that it unlocks. Buckle up, we're going to use case number 2, which is about building a full web app in 10 minutes. Before I show you this, let's set the foundation. Claude Code is an AI agent that lives in your terminal and has full access to your computer. It can read files, write files, run commands, install packages, and interact with APIs. It's not answering questions, it's actually doing things on your machine. To use Claude Code, there's 3 different levels. There's first, for non-technical people. Go to claude.com/download and download the desktop app. Then from there, open it, select code, and select the folder you want to work in. Simple enough. 2 is medium technical. You can set up a GitHub repo and push code directly from there, and then you don't have to download anything. You could use the web-based app all you want. And the 3rd level is for all the nerds out there where you use it directly in a terminal. If you're a nerd, you'll be able to figure this out. Now, for all the use cases I cover, I'm going to assume you're not technical. All right, so let's build a complete web app from scratch. Since starting my business that helps business owners use AI, I've worked directly with founders, finance people, fashion directors who are all starting to build apps. One of them actually messaged me and said, since I found Claude Code, I haven't been able to sleep. And it's really is exciting. Non-technical founders are now building and testing products without hiring anyone. So to do this, I'm going to build an app real quick. I open up Claude Code and I tell it, build me a weather app that tells me the weather based on my location. Then I can say, interview me to make sure I give you all the context needed. It'll then ask you clarifying questions, think through the architecture, and build the whole thing. The benefit of having it ask you questions is it asks you things that, as a non-technical person, you would never actually think of. And even if you are technical, it clarifies certain things that you likely didn't specify. As we go through all this use cases, this functionality and its ability to elegantly ask you questions about what you want to build is the biggest differentiator. All right, let's get to use case number 3, which is about creating video content programmatically. Claude Code can now create full-blown videos. So it can generate YouTube intros, poem to video workflows, even complete video projects. It writes the code, handles the rendering pipeline, and outputs actual video files. Why this is valuable should be obvious, right? You can now create videos if you've never actually done it before. It's as simple as describing what you want, and it builds the entire video generation system. One prompt, and it creates a repeatable workflow that you can use forever. So to do this, tell Claude, build me a video generation workflow using Remotion. I want to input a script and have it generate animated text overlays, add background music, and render a final MP4. Make it reusable so I can generate new videos just by changing the script. People are using this to generate YouTube intros programmatically. No After Effects, no Premiere Pro. Just describe what you want and let Claude build it. Use case number 4 is about creating your own personal operating system. This is probably my favorite use case. You're not just using an AI tool, you're building your own personal operating system. A system of custom agents, saved context, and workflows that are designed around exactly how you work. So in Claude Code, type /create-agent, and Claude asks you questions to understand what you need. Then it goes ahead and builds an agent you can run at any time. This means you're not starting from scratch every conversation. You're building on top of what you've already created. For myself, I'm currently building out this operating system, but one specific workflow is script writing. I've created 3 different agents: a YouTube scriptwriter, a YouTube transcript learner, and a Patty Galloway consultant. I've essentially started to break down my writing process into specific roles as if I had a team of writers. And within this operating system, I have context about me, about my previous scripts, and about how I like to write. In the near future, everyone watching this is going to have their own personal operating system. It's going to be tailored to exactly how you like to operate, not a generic chatbot. It's going to be a system built around your workflows, your preferences, and your way of working. And I touched on this use case a touch in this one, but I want to dive deeper on it. Use case number 5 is about creating a writing and editing assistant. Claude Code helps with any kind of writing: drafts, edits, rewrites, improving tone, tightens language, email reports, social posts, you name it. And this is the bone that I have to pick with Claude, is I think Claude Code is just not a good name because it's not just for coding, which is why Claude Cowork, their new product, is a much better name. And I'll dive in that in a little bit, but they effectively work the same way. So how can you use Claude Code for writing? So you can use Claude to create custom agents to help you with whatever type of writing you need. In past videos, I've spoken about how I love Claude projects because it lets me bring in all my context, set system prompts, and have a contained environment for exactly how I like to write. And I still love that. However, what Claude Code provides is a directory where it can directly create files, it can directly edit files, and it can build on top of its previous context. Let's say I suggest making adjustments to my script directly. It'll rewrite the whole script, and then I'll have to copy and paste those changes and bring them into the script that I'm working on. But with Claude Code, it has direct access to my file system, so it can update the file with those changes directly. This removes this whole copy and paste and reviewal process, which really streamlines it. So I'm still using Claude projects, but using Claude Code to write is going to be the next frontier. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to use case number 6, which is about automating your Google ads. Claude Code automates Google ads management. You can create campaigns, adjust bids, generate ad copy variation, analyze performance data, and optimize spend automatically. So if you're a growth marketer, you know Google ads is powerful, but it's time consuming. Tweaking campaigns, testing copy, adjusting budget. And the truth is, a lot of that can be automated. So you can let Claude handle the repetitive optimization while you focus on strategy. Tell Claude Code, connect to my Google Ads account, analyze performance over the last 30 days, identify underperforming keywords and pause them, generate 5 new ad variations for my best performing campaigns, create a daily report showing spend, conversions, and cost per acquisition. Anthropic's own team is using Claude Code for growth marketing automation. So if it's good enough for them, it's probably good enough for me and you. All right, we're 6 in, and if you feel like this is moving quick, that's because it is. So if you want a deeper breakdown on how you can use these different use cases and become irreplaceable with AI, I have a free 5-day email course where I cover 5 traps I see most people fall into when they're thinking about AI. I dive into each of these traps and how you can avoid them and position yourself to win. This is the first link in the description. It's entirely free, and based on over 2,000 readers, I think you're gonna love it. So go check that out, but we need to get to use case number 7, which is about building an interactive vacation planner. Claude Code can build interactive decision-making bots. So planning a trip usually means opening 15 browser tabs and feeling overwhelmed, but Claude Code can help avoid this. This use case specifically builds on a previous use case where you're able to build out tools within minutes. And this really does unlock use cases like this where it's specific how you want to analyze things and it has all of the functionality that you want. For example, I recently made a movie recommendation tool that I'm making a video on, and it has features like, do you want foreign movies? Rotten Tomato score. Are you high while watching it? These are all features that I want that a other movie recommendation tool may not actually include. So let your brain run about what you can make just because you want it. You don't have to build the next Facebook. If you get value from it, that's enough value. So on this vacation planner, you can tell Claude Code to build me an interactive vacation planning bot. It should ask about my budget, my preferred climate, how active I want to be, food preferences, and travel dates. Score destinations against my answers and recommend the top 3 with explanations. Here's a video of someone building this exact tool, and it's just way better than scrolling through travel blogs. The next use case is for anybody who's sitting on a business that they're just waiting to start. Use case number 8, come up with your startup idea. Claude Code helps you brainstorm, validate, and flesh out startup ideas by analyzing market gaps, identifying competitors, stress testing your assumptions, and generating a full strategy document that you can then go ahead and execute on. Most people have vague ideas floating around, but they never actually structure them into anything actionable, so it just seems overwhelming. But Claude can take your half-baked concept, do market research, identify what's already out there, and help you figure out if this thing's worth pursuing all in one session. For this, I create a folder called Claude Cowork and add any context in that location. Then I tell Claude Code I have an idea for concept, research the market, Who are the existing players? What are the gaps? And who would the target customer be? Create a context folder with market analysis. Create a steps folder with how I'd validate this idea in 30 days. Be brutally honest about the risks. It'll then create to-dos and a plan for exactly how to do what I asked for. I specifically asked about creating a sports apparel brand. It created a full breakdown, a research about the topic, along with step-by-step process to go ahead and execute. This is an example of where Claude Code is really being used as Claude Cowork, which is a tool that I'm going to touch on. And in this case, it tells me this is one of the most competitive consumer product categories in existence. Over 200 brands are fighting for market share in a space dominated by Nike and Lululemon with essentially unlimited marketing budgets. It's being honest with me. We got to appreciate that. Let's go to use case number 9, which is a touch more technical, but stick with me because this one's important. Use case number 9 is run security checks on your website. Claude Code can scan your website or code base for security vulnerabilities. As AI gets better and better, we're going to see a massive rise in security vulnerabilities across websites. And so what Claude Code can do is it can scan your website or code base for security vulnerabilities. So if you have any sort of personal website or side project, it's worth using Claude Code as a sanity check. Well, I was at IYK, the last tech startup I was a COO for. We raised over $20 million from top investors like A16Z. So we were on everyone's radar. And as a result, we'd get a ton of vulnerability emails from random people all the time saying, oh, you have this problem, you have this problem, you have this problem, essentially wanting us to pay them to fix it. Some were just people trying to scare us into paying them. Others were legit. And so what Claude Code can do, it can help you get ahead of real issues and figure out if those emails are bullshit or just make sure that your website's secure. Because the reality on the other side, people are using Claude Code to conduct cyber attacks. So cyber attacks are getting more sophisticated. So you have to use the same tools to help make your product more secure. To do this, you can just say, run a security check on this website. It goes, creates a full audit, writes up a report, identifies potential issues, and then I could actually have it go and fix them if I wanted it to. As more people vibe code, we're going to see more and more vulnerabilities in their code base. And as AI gets better, people are going to be much better at conducting cyber attacks. Both of these combinations is going to make cybersecurity that much more important. Okay, use case number 10 is build a multi-agent research system. This is one of the most beautiful parts about Claude Code. In the background, when you're using it, it spins up multiple AI instances working together, and each handles different parts of the task. And this is powerful because complex research requires looking at problems from multiple angles. So a multi-agent system can have one agent gather data, another analyzing it, and another checking for contradictions. And the final agent can synthesize it all to a specific conclusion. It's basically like having a research team instead of a single assistant. To do this, tell Claude Code, build me a deep research system using subagents. When I give it a topic, spawn one agent to gather factual information, one to find contrasting viewpoints, and one to identify gaps in the research, and one to synthesize everything into a structured report. People are building these multi-agent research systems within Claude Code, and it becomes way more thorough than a single prompt could ever be. To hammer home why this is valuable, think of it no different than a normal work environment. If you gave a single person to do an entire task, they can get it done, but it's likely not going to be as good if you had a specific person specialize in step 1, another person specialize in step 2, et cetera, et cetera. Use case number 11 is create interactive visualizations and simulations. So Claude Code can build interactive data visualizations and simulations. I'm not making my life easy with that, but it totally can do this. So that could be physics engines, data dashboards, animated charts, whatever you can describe. Tell Claude Code, build me an interactive simulation showing how compounded interest works over time. Let users adjust the initial investment, interest rate, and time horizon. Animate the growth and show the final values. Make it visually engaging. Anyway, people are building everything from physics simulations to data dashboards. If you can describe what you want to see, Claude can build it. Okay, use case number 12, for all the finance guys out there, automate finance workflows. I mentioned this earlier, but Claude Code fundamentally changes what's worth building and what isn't. This is a perfect example of a custom workflow tool that could save you time, which means it's worth building. Tell Claude Code, build me a tool that pulls our Stripe transactions, categorizes them by type, reconciles against our bank statements, and generates a weekly cash flow report. Flag any discrepancies for review. Finance teams are automating workflows that used to take hours every week, but now once you build the tool, it runs forever. Now, before I get to Claude Cowork and the last couple of use cases, if you're a non-technical founder who wants to build with AI, but you're just not sure you're doing it right, and you don't have anyone that you can call when things break, that's exactly what I help businesses with. I'll help your business ship code like you have an engineering team while simultaneously simultaneously helping you with more complex features and any issues that come along during the process. If that sounds interesting, book a call with the second link below, and we can walk through your goals and if you're a good fit. Either way, you can walk away with actionable advice you can implement immediately. That call is entirely free, so click the second link below if you want to start building like you have a full-blown engineering team. Okay, use case number 13 is one of my favorites. Show, don't tell. Building what you're imagining. This is a high-level use case, but it's very important. I recently got off a call with a newsletter subscriber who wanted some advice. He was saying that he's been at his job for 8 years and they won't give him any new ownership so that he can learn new skills. And what I told him was, you no longer need someone else's permission to start learning. AI has made it so that anyone can build almost anything, and Claude Code has made it so that they can build it at an extremely high level. So I told him, if there's a specific thing you want to take on at work, just do that exact thing outside of work. Build something, then show your boss to prove you actually already have the skill that's needed for the new responsibility. This is a process of showing, not telling. And I do this all the time when I'm working with businesses to show them the value that AI can have. And if you do this in a corporate setting, it de-risks your manager from being worried about giving you the task because he's confident you can already do it. Again, I do this all the time working with my clients, even talking with other business owners that I'm just friendly with. If I have a new idea, I'll just spin up a landing page so I can show them what the offer looks like instead of just describing it to them. You can move so much quicker now, and there's better ways to present information. Use case number 14 is create and maintain SOPs. Claude Code can take messy training transcripts, scattered docs, Loom recordings, Slack threads, whatever documentation chaos you have, and transform it into clean, structured, standard operating procedures that people will actually use. Every company has critical knowledge trapped in random places. Training sessions nobody rewatches, Slack messages buried in history, that one Google Doc from when Nancy made it, who knows? But Claude can extract that knowledge, structure it properly, and create SOPs you can actually maintain. If you tell Claude Code, here are the transcripts from our last 5 training sessions, plus these process docs, extract the key steps, common edge cases, and decision trees, create a structured SOP document with clear sections, flag anything that seems outdated or contradictory. This is a non-coding use case that's incredibly powerful, turning hours of tribal knowledge into documentation your team will actually reference. Use case number 15 is process audio and video files. You can now handle media processing pipelines. That's converting file formats, transcribing speech to text, translating between languages, and extracting specific clips for highlights. These media workflows previously required 3 to 4 different apps, but Claude can now chain them all together. And what used to take 30 minutes of juggling between tools can now be a 30-second command. Say, take this recording from my meeting, transcribe the full conversation, pull out any action items mentioned, and translate any Spanish portions to English. Give me a clean summary I can share with the team. This can handle the whole pipeline. Okay, so we've gone through 15 Claude Code use cases, but we have to go through use cases for Claude Cowork. I tease this tool throughout the video. It's basically Claude Code, but branded for more general purpose tasks. It's just a little bit more non-technical friendly, and it displays information that's more relatable to the type of tasks you'll do with Cowork. For example, it makes it really easy for how you connect things like your Notion, your Google Drive, Linear, etc. As of today, this is only available for Max users, but I expect they're going to roll this out over time to almost everyone. So if you don't want to upgrade, you don't have to, just wait. Claude Code can do a lot of these, but I expect Cowork to get better very quickly. To access this on your desktop app, you'll see a Cowork tab, and you just have to click that and you're ready to go. So let me give you 3 bonus use cases that are perfect for Claude Cowork. Use case number 16, clear up space on your computer. I wish I had Claude Cowork on my iPhone. I've been struggling with my iPhone storage for like months. If anyone else has had that problem, let me know in the comments because I literally can't clear up storage on my iPhone. Anyway, mini rant. I love this use case because it shows the possibilities of having an understanding of your workspace. Cowork will go through your folders, call it downloads, desktop, documents, and organize everything into logical subfolders based on file type, content, etc. And it'll remove any old files you don't need anymore. So I have a download folder with just like thousands of things that I don't even know. I'm not going to go through it. Like, I just don't care to do that. But I'll definitely have an AI agent do that. So I point Cowork at my download folder and I say, organize everything into logical subfolders, create folders for documents, images, installers, receipts, and whatever else makes sense. Rename files to something readable and move everything automatically. So I go in and I say, hey, clean up my downloads folder, and I want you to delete anything that you think should be deleted. After I say that, in the top right, you can see a plan that it plans to go through and it starts executing on each step. And Claude in general is so powerful because it knows when to ask questions. So it'll give me 2 different clarifying questions on how I want it to go about it. And it'll also project how much storage it'll save depending on the option I select. So I'll select what it does. It goes in and it processes the files exactly how I want it to do, clearing up storage without me having to go through the folder. It's on your workspace, specific to your environment, working on your behalf. If the brain's spinning, it should be. If it isn't, I don't know what to tell you. It should be. Let's get to the next use case for Cowork. Use case number 17, bonus number 2, is you can stop paying unnecessary subscriptions. Take a recent credit card statement, upload it to Claude Cowork, and tell it to identify any subscriptions, analyze them, and tell them which to cancel. It then asks questions about what it's trying to do. Again, you answer them, and it goes ahead and looks for cheaper alternatives so you can still have the same service, but spend less money. I can then have it connect to my Notion to create to-dos to actually cancel these subscriptions. I will say, in order to get the most out of this, you may need to tweak your workflows. For example, I love Apple Reminders, but Claude doesn't have an integration with that. So if I want to get the most out of Claude Cowork, I would have to change what I use. So then maybe I would do my to-dos on Notion. Use case number 18, bonus number 3, is grocery shopping. Claude has a browser plugin that lets you navigate the internet. So you can use Cowork to go on the internet and shop for you. So let's say I wanted to do grocery shopping on Amazon. I can ask it to visit Amazon and buy groceries. It'll then ask me clarifying questions. I'll tell it I want chicken parm. You should know that. And it goes, add things to the cart. I can review it and then hit checkout. How we're working is changing very quickly, whether it's Claude Cowork or Claude Code. And here's what I want you to notice. Both of these tools are unlocking your ability to just do things. I hate to regurgitate Nike, but it's a fact. Now you can actually just do it. So if you like this video, you'll love this video where I dive into the top 9 professional use cases for Gemini. This is one of my favorite tools on the market, and it's specifically for professionals looking to get the most out of Gemini. Go check that out. If you got this far, you are a legend, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.